nosotros mismos y a vivir la vida con amor real por ti y por las personas. Gracias por la bendición de estar aquí un día más. En el nombre de Jesús. Amén. Toda una vida buscándome y yo siempre escondiéndome. Tu voz que sigue llamándome y no sé por qué me alejo, yeah. Toda una vida buscándome y yo siempre escondiéndome. Tu voz que sigue llamándome y no sé por qué me alejo, yeah.
A ver esas palmas así.
En su nombre hay libertad, un gran futuro Jesús nos da. Toda esperanza y redención hoy encontramos en su amor. Tu fidelidad no acabará, nos persigue tu bondad. Vamos, cántalo más fuerte, con toda la fuerza en ti. Lo mejor está por venir, Dios lo va a cumplir. Vamos, cántalo más fuerte, con toda la fuerza en ti. Lo nuevo está por venir, Dios lo va a cumplir.
¿Cuántos lo creen?
Eres mi fuego y mi pasión, llama que arde en mi interior. Estoy seguro en tu verdad. Nada ni nadie te igualará.
¡Dilo fuerte!
Hemos visto tu fidelidad, tu bondad nos seguirá. Hemos visto tu fidelidad, tu bondad nos seguirá. Vamos, cántalo.
This is WSMU, La Celestial, 106.5 FM.
Esta radioemisora es patrocinada por Magic Transmission, especialista en la reconstrucción de transmisión de vehículos. Trabajos garantizados, 25 años de experiencia. Visítenos en la 10505 Cleveland Road, Garner, North Carolina, 27529. Llámanos al 984-242-4989. Estimados gratis. En asuntos de transmisión, Magic Transmission es la solución. Llámanos al 984-242-4989. Y recuerde que como Magic Transmission no hay dos. Si se lesionó en un accidente, llame al abogado Bello para una consulta gratis. Tiene derecho a compensación por sus daños, ingresos perdidos, dolor y sufrimiento. Cobramos solo si ganamos su caso. Llame al 919-884-0031. 919-884-0031. El abogado Bello es hispano y habla su idioma. El abogado Bello te ayuda con ello.
Atraviesa el tráfico de autos con el mejor playlist.
The drive home sounds better.
Que el camino suena mejor con la Celestial 106.5.
No le cambie, porque a continuación comenzará un programa que bendecirá tu vida. Aquí en la Celestial FM 106.5. El siguiente programa es clasificación A, apto para todo público. Contenido E, entretenimiento.
Toda palabra o punto doctrinal emitido en el siguiente programa es responsabilidad exclusiva del programador y no de esta radioestación.
Bienvenidos a Café con Hispanos, un programa que conecta nuestra fe, nuestros valores como familia, nuestros negocios y proyectos de ley que afectan a nuestra comunidad hispana aquí en Carolina del Norte. Entrevistamos al gobierno y a líderes de nuestra comunidad para dialogar sobre el trabajo que realizan en beneficio nuestro, actualidad y un sabor a dulce hogar. Somos la voz de nuestra gente hispana. Le damos la bienvenida al pastor Gilbert Pagan. Café con Hispanos comienza.
Hispanos del Sur, la voz de los hispanos en Carolina del Norte, quiere asegurarle que esté al tanto de los programas que le beneficiarán a usted y a su familia. Servimos a familias y a empresas en 4 áreas. 1. Creación, financiamiento y crecimiento de pequeñas empresas. 2. Becas para enviar a sus hijos a escuelas privadas y religiosas. 3. Programas de salud y bienestar para mejorar su salud y obtener seguro médico. 4. Educación cívica, políticas públicas y cómo las leyes y regulaciones afectan su vida diaria. Nos aseguramos de que nuestras voces se escuchen en todos los niveles de gobierno. ¿Necesita hablar con nosotros o colaborar con nosotros? Contáctenos al 919-931-4597 o por correo electrónico connect@hispanosdelsur.com o envíe un mensaje en redes sociales. Hispanos del Sur, la voz de la comunidad hispana.
Te inunda de fatalidad y te agobia la vida con su mucho afán y se llena tu alma de preocupación y se seca la fuente de tu corazón. Cuando quieres huir porque no puedes más, porque solo te sientes entre los demás y no hay más en tus ojos brillo y emoción y se cierra tu boca porque no hay canción. Puedes sentarte a sus pies y de sus manos beber la plenitud que tu alma necesita. Puedes sentarte a sus pies y cada día tener una nueva canción. Hay paz, gracia y bendición. A sus pies tendrás luz y dirección. La plenitud en él nunca se agotará. Puedes descansar en su presencia. Descansa en él en esta noche.
Good afternoon, Bella Audiencia. Good afternoon. Thank you for listening to the Coffee with Hispanics radio program. Today we're doing a program in English as we try to do one at least once a month. And we're going to be talking with David Mashian, who owns an organization called Money Mac. and they do hard money lending. And if you don't know what that is, you're going to learn about that today, at least. Try to get some really good information from this conversation with David. It's an area that he specializes in, and I'm learning a lot about it myself, just to understand it better as a business owner and just a person, entrepreneur, and that kind of thing. David, thank you for coming to the radio program and being here in the studios today.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Yeah, you're looking forward to this conversation about hard money. But before we go down that road, tell us a little bit about you and where you came from. I know you're not a Raleigh native. Obviously, a lot of people here are not Raleigh natives in general. But yeah, me neither. I've been here a long time now, but I feel like I am. But so tell us a little bit about you and where you came from and your background.
Okay, sure. So I came from California in Los Angeles, and going back as far as my real estate career. In 2001, I got my license to become a real estate broker in commercial real estate. And
in California?
In California. I was selling apartment buildings in California, in the Hollywood, downtown areas. And I did that worked up the ladder in terms of creating my own team, managing multiple offices nationwide, building an organization, franchising, etc. And did that for 17 years, and I was a sales trainer for Nationwide for Coldwell Banker Commercial as well as SVN Commercial. And so did that, got bored of it, and one of my friends told me, hey, why don't you try hard money lending? And so I did. And I started, I've worked basically, my background in lending started with like a local hard money guy in LA, in California. And you learned a lot about that business that way, worked with institutional hard money lenders. The local hard money guy is very different. It's their money or it's their investors' money versus the institutional, which is you're dealing more larger dollar amounts, $100 million plus monthly revenue, versus the local hard money guy is maybe $1 million, $2 million tops. So I worked in-house as a lender for both the local hard money people as well as the institutional hard money. And this was at a time where, we're just kind of getting out of the recession, and that recession really made financing more available for people to be able to do fix and flips. Because before that, there was no real loan programs, any institution that was offering that. It was all local. And once there was such a volume of homes available on the market nationwide, that people started creating businesses catering to that to deal with the massive glut of properties that were foreclosed. So I got in on that. A few years ago, I decided to go on my own and start brokering it. So I have the experience both of being a lender on the inside and knowing what a lender looks at with a borrower, right? So I can size up a borrower. I understand what the psychology of a lender is looking at risk. They're not looking at profit. They're saying, what's the odds of making a loss in this situation, not making a profit?
Right.
So they're very risk averse. Versus the investors looking, well, wow, what's the opportunity here? How much money can I make, right? Totally different opposite ways of looking at it. So as a broker, when I came to be a broker, and I said, okay, how do I bridge this? How do I bridge these two ways of seeing financing? And that's how I got into it. Now, as a broker, I no longer represent one company working in-house, analyzing, underwriting, etc. Now, if I see, depending on the deal, I take it to different lenders depending on the credit score, the deal, what type of loan, and the market. The market fluctuates as well, and its appetite. Sometimes some lenders go very aggressive and give competitive pricing, and then there are other times there's a pullback. Maybe they don't want to do that anymore. So I shift with the tides and help my borrowers accomplish what they want in their financing, get their financing they need, and they're not aware of these shifts. They just see, well, I want a loan, and this is, okay, so I have to do this.
So the hard money market is investors funding it, but also individual people, right? So you got a group of people maybe have their money together and pooled, and then you got individuals as well who are doing hard money, and also banks are doing hard money.
So this in the industry, hard money and private money kind of used interchangeably, and there's really no clear line here. People just use it very loosely. Hard money, in the old days, was this guy that lends money for real estate, and he's got cash in his account, and he'll lend you the money. And now that, for the lenders who are kind of want to be in this space, they don't like that because it has a lot of negative connotation with extortion and kind of bad practices in lending.
Right.
So we've kind of we like to use the term private money because it is private money. Much of the loans that I do are funded by institutions. If I go to a company and they finance it, they take my loan along with hundreds of other loans, they bundle it up, and they resell these loans to large institutions, insurance companies, bond companies, whatever institutions that want to get a high yield on their loans.
Gotcha. So the term, I guess, hard money or private money is the way I see it. I've kind of defined it as the requirements to get the money are somewhat different, and please correct me if I'm wrong, from the money that how you would apply to get money from a traditional bank. So there are certain requirements that are not as required for hard money, private money, versus bank money, which is more conservative. I want to manage my risk. I don't want to lose my loan, versus the other guys, I want the high return. So help us understand a little bit about the requirements of a hard money loan versus private money, and the traditional stuff.
Yeah. So, I purposely went into private money or hard money loans because I didn't like the way banks operated with asking for all these documents and basically doing everything they can to not make that loan happen.
And they're supposed to be giving you loans because that's how they make money, right?
Well,
right?
Yeah, they make money that way, but they make money other ways too.
Of course, yeah.
So I said I don't want to work with banks, so that's why I went into this space. But basically, the big difference between, let's say, I'm going to call hard money loans the small kind of mom and pop lender, the local person that they're taking money out either out of their HELOC loan or their retirement funds and lending it out and making money that way, making some extra cash that way. Versus private money, which is more institutional, where they basically, similar situation, they have a larger credit line, not a HELOC, but it's like a line of credit that, let's say, runs into hundreds of millions of dollars, and they fund these loans, and then they, once they're funded, they bundle them up and resell the loans. So kind of same process, but different scale. So hard money is more like the local, private money is the more institutional. The big difference as far as the borrower is concerned is that the hard money guy is not going to look at your credit score. It's very much a personal decision. The institutions that want to know a credit score sometimes ask for appraisal depending on the loan and the lender. But I've done loans for hard money and as a hard money lender. Rarely is there an appraisal, and it's really done by like kind of gut. It's less formal, less structured, and it's kind of like shoot from the hip. You're gonna wing it, And sometimes you make a loan offer to somebody, and they don't have an investor yet to back that loan up. So actually, the hard money lender, the small local hard money people, run out of money or run out of investor money. And so if they make a commitment or they're trying to make a commitment, they're scrambling trying to see who's an investor that can put their money into this deal. Now, as a borrower, you're not aware of this, but me, as being on both sides, and as a broker, I'm aware of this, and I try to avoid that because that just creates a lot of potential for disappointment. So with the institutional, they have a line of credit, they have their act together, very systematized, very organized. They have a grid matrix depending on credit score and how much money, type of asset, etc. They evaluate a property. It's very systematized, so you can get a pretty consistent loan result. So if you come in there with this type of loan, I come in there with the same type of loan, we're both going to get the same score. We're going to get the same LTV. We're going to get the same loan package, loan offering.
To value.
Yeah,
right.
Loan to value, loan offering. Whereas with a private lender, they're going to say, well, how much can I squeeze this guy?
Right.
I mean, not to speak badly, but that's the reality of
Sure.
it. So they try to see how much money they can make it off of that particular situation. So ultimately, the difference is I have used private money lenders, and I think they're good, primarily for the people who either need the money super fast or they have a terrible credit score. And let's say, so the hard money lenders, the locals, don't look at credit score. They don't even ask for it. So if somebody doesn't have a good credit score, that's usually where I take them to, because they don't ask for it, they don't want it. They look at the deal, they look at the borrower, and if they feel good about it, they'll do the deal.
So let me make sure I understand. So the private money lender is going to ask for credit score and a couple of things, and then there's another group of people that don't ask for that, is what you're saying. Is that
so
accurate? Okay, give me a scenario
let's
that.
say Joe has $300,000 in his HELOC, and he's going to draw money out of it to make the loan, right? So he looks at Jane's loan, and he says, Jane, okay, this looks like a house that you want to build. You want to do a rehab. Okay, this looks good. I like you. I'm going to offer you this, and here's the chart points, and here's the interest rate, and here's when it's the term. And doesn't ask for credit score, kind of does the loan. They either front the money up for the purchase, and Jane takes care of the rehab, or he can front the purchase plus the rehab. So it's really a relationship between Jane and
The one-on-one, the kind of the gut thing that you talked about.
Yeah.
Does Jane have to come up with money, say a $300,000 scenario, the HELOC guy's going to give her the money, interest, whatever, the terms are, does she have to come up with money down, or just he may write the check?
It's all negotiable.
Okay.
It's literally...
what has been your experience?
It depends on their relationship.
Okay.
And it's really like some people are more organized and more structured, and some people are less organized and less structured. So it's very much an individual. It's like, what flavor ice cream do you like?
Right.
Right. So it's that's why there's
butter pecan, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. I'm gonna get that for you on your birthday.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Go ahead.
So, but it depends. The thing is, the hard money is good, but there's inconsistencies, and there's also the inconsistency of being able to fund. To me, having surety of funding, I think, is key. It's critical.
Right.
And actually, that's where a broker comes in, because I already have the relationships. There's a ton of lenders out there, and if you don't know the lay of the land, they all kind of look the same. But once you're into business, you start experiencing working with different lenders and going to conferences. You start understanding who's the real person. And there's a lot of pretenders out there. There's a lot of people who are brokers pretending to be lenders, and they're really not lenders. They're brokers. So...
And you're a broker.
I'm a broker.
Okay,
I'm not a lender. I'm
right,
not
you're giving it. You have the network. You're connecting the people.
That's
you know the deal. You know where to send it. That kind of thing.
Right.
Got
That's
it.
right. It's not my money. I'm not.
Right.
I'm making the connection.
Got it.
So
continue with. So you get the small individual person.
Yeah, that's right.
That's one. Then okay. That's whatever how they do it. Like the person with terms negotiated, down payment, no down payment, whatever. Then the second one behind that is what?
Yeah. So the second one behind that I will call private money lender.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
They're the institutional. They have a company.
Yep.
They have a price sheet. Everything's very transparent. They have a process.
Those are the ones that are going to pull credit.
They're going to pull credit.
Okay.
Number one. That's kind of the first easy distinction. Now, for the loan, there's two. I'm going to keep it simple. Two different types of loans. One is a fix and flip loan, which is a short-term loan. Somebody wants to buy a house, they want to put some money into it, rehab it, resell it, make some money off of that. That's been the traditional model. Now, there is a model, it's called a DSCR loan, which stands for Debt Service Coverage Ratio Loan. And this is not something that the hard money lenders get into, because it's a 30-year loan. Nobody wants their money tied up for 30 years. And also, the rates are lower. I mean, for a fix and flip loan, rates are in the 9s, 10s, and higher, plus points. And the typical term is anywhere from 6 to 12 months.
Well, that's really short.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Well, it's intended to be short.
Fix, flip, sell the house, give me the money back.
That's right. It's not demand. But the DSCR loan came around about 7-8 years ago, where they said, well, a lot of these people want to buy a property, and maybe their income, these are business people. Maybe their tax returns don't look so great. A lot of things don't look so great as per the bank. So they kind of filled in a void that the banks created because they're kind of very paperwork heavy, very bureaucratic,
very risk averse,
that's
all
right.
that. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, you know what? We don't need tax returns.
Right.
We don't need you even to have a job. We only want a credit score. We want to make sure that the property is habitable, and what's the market rent? How much can we rent this for? And they base the value of the loan and the terms of the loan on a combination of the borrower's credit score and the cash flow of the property. So debt service coverage ratio, DSCR loan, it's a function of what's the rent of the property versus the value, and how does that work with what we think is the credibility of the borrower, by the credit score. So
they're both pulling credit scores. The traditional bank, and obviously in this, people doing DSR loan and doing the private lender loan, but the individual person pull out money from their HELOC, they're probably not doing that. So
no, they're not.
So it seems like they are pulling credit score at a minimum, the ones that are more institutional, if I use that word.
Yeah.
Organizations, businesses that do that. Is that right?
Yeah, it's more business. Well, the other one's kind of more like a side hustle, or
right.
Once in a while they make a loan.
Gotcha. Okay, where these guys are going to ask you at a minimum for a credit score, but not that it's going to be the deciding factor. It'll go into your rate and all those, and obviously the deal doesn't make sense, and the like. So, and in that scenario, the DSCR loan, say they want to buy a 10-unit building, or they want to buy a house, whatever they want to do with that. What is is there typically a down payment requirement for those kind of people as well? There is.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So the real reason for down payment is the lenders call it having skin in the game. Sure. They want to make sure that there's some level of commitment, something committing the borrower to the property. They don't want to make a loan and something goes south, and all of a sudden the borrower walks, and now the lender
left holding the bag, right?
They're left holding the property. Now, a lot of borrowers think that lenders want the property, and in reality, they don't want the property. They're just securing their money against the property.
Right.
They don't want the property. They just want to get their return. So they're not interested in the real estate business. Otherwise, they would have been in it.
Right. Well, they want their money out and whatever, their
right.
interest rate, and make their
that's right.
Gotcha. So, in your experience, obviously you've been doing this for a while, and I'm sure you get all types of deals presented to you. You see stuff come. They come to you for different things. Are most of the ones that you're funding, from your experience over the last few years, are they going through private money lenders, the institutional guys, more organized process, or are you getting most of them funded through DSCR loans? I mean, like just a general, like how. From your business, what is working, I guess, for the people who are listening. Say, okay, I want to buy this building. I want to buy some units. I want to get I want to get residual income. I want to do all these kind of things. How do I to see which one is going to work better for them?
Yeah.
Generally speaking, just not put you in the box, but more general.
Sure.
What is easier, if I could use that word. I know sometimes it's not, but help us understand that.
Okay, so really we're talking about what kind of loan are we doing? So if we're buying let's just say a house that needs $40,000 worth of rehab, we're going to do a fix and flip loan.
Right.
It's not going to be a DSCR because we don't need a 30-year loan.
That's a 6 to 12 month loan with an interest rate.
That's right.
Okay.
So you got the interest rate plus. So you get, let's say it's easy numbers. You got a $100,000 house. You're going to get up to $90,000 or 90% of that on the purchase, right? And then let's say, like I said, you got a $40,000 rehab budget. The lender will give you $40,000 of that money for the rehab. They won't give it to you up front. You need to do it. Let's say you do $10,000 worth of the rehab, and then once you did it, the lender comes and confirms that, whether through they take pictures or inspections or whatever. Once the work has been confirmed done, they're going to release the money. So they have up to, let's just say in this example, $40,000 rehab budget. So once the rehab, let's say it goes up to $40,000, they got all the rehab, the house is done, It's been 3 months. Now the owner of the property, the fix and flipper, is going to put it on the market, sell it, and they're out of the loan within 6 months.
Gotcha.
So that's somebody who goes in and out. Let's say they want to keep it, okay, or somebody else wants to buy it as an investment. So they say, you know what, I want to keep it. I fixed it. I really like it. I'm going to rent it out. Okay, so that's when I would come in with a debt service coverage ratio loan, DSCR loan, right? That's a 30-year loan, and it's fully amortized over 30 years. There's no balloon payment. It's
Kind of interest rates are we looking at now in the market?
We're looking at the rates of sixes and sevens right now.
Oh, okay.
Really good.
Well, that's
yeah,
not
I've been
bad.
quoting 6.1 and change.
6 to 7, okay.
Yeah, 6 to 7.
And 9 to 10 for the fix and flip.
Yeah, 9 to 10.
Plus
it could
points.
be higher.
Plus points.
Plus points.
DSRs plus points too?
DSCR, the lender doesn't charge points, but I do charge points as a broker, so that's how I get paid.
Got it.
On the fix and flip, I charge points, but also the lender charges points.
Gotcha,
Because
okay.
it's a short-term loan. It's not like they're making money on the interest rate, but that they want to make more money than just the interest rate for 6 months.
I got it. So I'm sorry. Continue with the DSR part that you come in now with a DSR to take over that loan. That person wants to keep the house. Keep on going.
Yeah.
with that.
So that person says, you know what, I want to buy this house. I'm going to keep this house, and so I would say, okay, so you own it. It's worth, let's say you put 100. You purchased it for 140 into it. It's worth 200 now. So okay, so we're going to give you a loan based on the 200 value, and on a purchase we can do up to 80% LTV. On a refi, we can do up to 75% loan to value. So in this case, it would be a refi and refinance. So let's say 75% of the 200. So that's 150. What is that? God, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they would need to come in with 25% of that. So they're at 150, right?
Okay.
So, and then we'd refinance that, and they would keep the property, and we could finance it without any tenant in there.
Okay.
So the lender won't charge any points. I charge my fees. There's some closing costs with closing attorney, title, etc. But it should typically happens in 30 days. On a fix and flip loan, we can do that in less than a week.
Wow.
In days. So depending on the situation, but we can do that. Usually what delays the loan on those is actually title or the borrowers themselves. They can't react that fast.
Right, they're working, they're doing something else. They got to get
Yeah.
them whatever documents together, whatever they got to do is usually
Yeah, usually
that.
there's some kind of issues with title.
With title, really?
Yeah,
Okay,
title.
okay.
I'm dealing with that today, right now.
Right, I got you. So there's something holding up the title, basically.
That's right. There's
so
a
you can-
cloud on title or something.
I got you. Okay. So you can get a deal funded, it seems like, from what you said, in 30 days for a DSCR loan, in that range, and then a fix and flip within 1 week. And I guess the question that kind of led to this conversation was, are the fix and flips easier to make happen versus the DSCR loan? Are you doing more of those? Is it like, what is?
I do both.
Okay,
and it
okay.
kind of fluctuates for
Okay.
me. And my business fluctuates for those. It just depends on who comes to me for a
Right,
loan.
yeah. Who's coming in and wanting
Yeah.
what they want?
Yeah.
Is it? Do you see more? Let me turn the question around. Do you see more denials for a fix and flip and or a DSCR in your experience? Just in general. I'm just trying to. The question earlier was about what is easier for someone to get involved in with the market and do real estate and that kind of thing. Is it going to be that fix and flip or is it going to be that DSCR?
So for
That's kind of
me-
like where I'm going.
So yeah, I get it.
Okay.
So like you're coming from the position of like what you're experienced to use, working with the bank. They deny you, right?
Yeah.
So I don't. It's funny you say that because I usually don't deny anybody because I have multiple lenders that we can go to.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So if this lender I know won't take that loan, I can go to the next lender or the other lender that will take it. So I rarely come into a situation where we say we're going to deny this, but there are situations where I'll tell the borrower, this is not going to work because of a lot of reasons. Maybe the deal's bad on a fix and flip, which I've told them. I said, look, we can fund this, but you're not going to like the results. You're not going to make any money at the end of this.
And they still do it.
No, they don't do it.
Oh, good. Oh, good. No, good. I'm glad. Yeah,
No. So it's not all about making that loan, because
Sure.
ultimately, I want to make sure they come out whole. There's no point in working for nothing.
Right. Of course.
So that's kind of your lender is your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm keeping people out of trouble, and kind of it may not be an answer they want to hear, but it's the answer they need to hear. So. So as far as a denial, like you go to the bank and you say, hey, I want a loan, and they run you around, give you all this paperwork, and then at the end of 3 months after running around, they say, oh no, we're going to deny this. For me,
you could have funded somewhere else and been doing it already.
That's right. And for me, I usually ask simple questions like what's the address of the property, value, etc. I get an idea, an overview of the property, of the deal rather, and then I can tell them if it's feasible or not. And I'll tell them why. Because I've been on the lending side, and I'll tell them what are the strengths and weaknesses and how they can overcome potential weaknesses. Sometimes they don't have enough money. Sometimes the credit score is too low. Maybe the deal is no good. Whatever the situation. So I help them. So like, let's say if an institutional hard money lender or private lender will not finance that, then I'll take it to the local hard money person.
Okay, gotcha.
Because they don't have those stringent requirements. It's more about a relationship, which I have with them. And if they like it, great, we'll do it. And if they don't, I'll go to the next one. We'll see if somebody else will like it,
Right. I gotcha. No, that's great. That's great. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's like the advantage of being a broker is that I can shop the property educated. I don't need to educate myself to shop one loan. I've already been doing this for 10 years.
Right.
So I understand. So I can shop it pretty quick. Like within a day, I can get price and terms for a borrower.
Wow, that's great. No, that's great. We're going to go to a break. Vamos a un descanso. We're going to go to a break right now, and we're talking with David Mashian from Money Mac. We're talking about hard money lenders in North Carolina. He's a hard money lender and kind of private money lender. Got it. Now you changed my vocabulary a little bit because you're teaching me here. And we're going to come back after a break, and we'll continue this conversation about real estate, hard money, private money, and how you may be able to get involved and build a portfolio for yourself. Stay with us. We'll be back in a minute.
Gracia y bendición, a sus pies tendrás luz y dirección, la plenitud en él nunca se agotará, puedes descansar en su presencia. Gracias, Señor, por tu presencia. Levanta tus manos al cielo y descansa en Él en esta noche. Hay paz, gracia y bendición, a sus pies tendrás luz y dirección, la plenitud en él nunca se agotará, puede ser en su presencia. Oh, sí, Señor. Alabamos, Señor. Cuando el mundo te inunda de fatalidad y te agobia la vida con su mucho afán y se llena tu alma de preocupación y se seca la fuente de tu corazón. Cuando quieres huir porque no puedes más, porque solo te sientes entre los demás y no hay más en tus ojos brillo y emoción y se cierra tu boca porque no hay canción. Puedes sentarte a sus pies y de sus manos beber la plenitud que tu alma necesita. Puedes sentarte a sus pies y cada día tener una nueva canción y nueva vida. A sus pies hay paz, gracia y bendición. A sus pies tendrás luz y dirección, la plenitud en él nunca se agotará. Puedes descansar en su presencia. Descansa en él en esta noche. Cuando el mundo te inunda de fatalidad y te agobia la vida con su...
We're back with David Mashian from Money Mac, and we're talking about hard money lending and different scenarios on how you could get into potentially the real estate business, whether it's fix and flip, whether it's commercial. We haven't gone down the commercial route, in depth yet. But talking a little bit about a deal scenario here, David. And let's say we have a house that's for sale. We're going to buy the house. The house, they want $200,000 for the house. Let's assume the house needs $50,000 in renovations, so it's $250,000. Obviously, after the $250,000, after the $50,000 renovation, maybe the value of the house goes up to $350,000, another $100,000. I don't know if those numbers are even reasonable, but let's just say that. So now the value of the house is $350,000. How much does the person have to put down out of pocket, have cash available to get the money to fix and flip that house? Sure. in that scenario?
Yeah, so kind of the lenders look at a few things for those fix and flip loans. They look at, number one, they look at experience. I can do loans that they don't have to have experience, but the lenders still look at it. Credit score, which we already talked about, and liquidity, which means how much money do you have. And liquid funds does not mean just how much money do you have in your bank account. It could be your retirement account, 401k, crypto account, Roth IRA, Charles Schwab, whatever. So they take into account how much money you have liquid. And then also, obviously, they look at the deal. Do the numbers work? So let's just make it easy math. So let's just say they're buying the property for $100,000. They're going to put 50 into it, and it's going to be worth 200. So they go based on 70% of the after repair value, or ARV. So the after repair value is 200,000. So 70% of that is 140,000. So that's the maximum they will lend on this project. Okay. So let's say the price of the purchase is 100,000, and the maximum they'll lend is 90%, right? Typically 85-90 is kind of where it goes. Let's let's just say 90% here.
So it's
the bar-
$10,000.
Yeah, so the borrower needs to bring 10,000, and the 50,000 in rehab, they're going to fund and draw. So as the borrower improves the property, they're going to get. Let's say they put $10,000 of improvements, they're going to get their 10,000 back. Now,
So that buyer has to have $10,000 cash, liquid, so they can
Yeah.
pay the contractors, fix it, submit some invoice or documentation or photos to get the money back.
that's correct.
How long
So-
does it take to get the money back once you submit to the
Like a day or two.
Okay, so you get the money back. Got it. Okay, go
So
ahead.
interesting. So kind of point to make is like,
Yeah.
let's say the rehab,
Yeah.
you did $10,000 work, right? But that $10,000 is based on what's called a scope of work, which is what you submit to the lender before you get the loan. And they're going to say, okay, I need a roof for 5,000. I need an HVAC for 5,000. So
Right.
that's 10,000 among the other things you've listed as part of the work. If you prove to the lender, hey, here's the roof, here's the HVAC, give me the 10,000, they'll release the 10,000. Now, let's say the roof costs you 4,000, you'll still get 5,000.
Okay.
If the roof costs you 6,000, you'll still get 5,000.
Gotcha. Okay.
So whether you're up or down, you'll get what you stated is the cost of the work in your scope of work.
So that's you submit that to the lender, and they're going to be looking at that, and then submit the invoice, whatever, and they're going to say, okay, that's what you're going to get.
So they verify the work being done. They don't verify how much it costs you. So let's say let's say doing the roof, and you're a great roof guy, and you did the roof yourself. So instead of costing 5,000, it cost you 2,000. They don't care about that. They just want to know that the work was done.
Right.
Okay, so you can cut the costs and do that, but and you can and estimate the cost at market. Let's say the market is 5,000, which is fine. So that's one way of kind of getting extra cash. Let's say that $3,000 that you got the cash for, you can use that as reserves for the rest of the rehab, right? To keep. Let's say you wanted to put windows in there, but the windows went over by 3,000. Okay, well, what you saved on the roof can go into the windows as kind of your reserve, right?
Yeah,
so that's kind of how it's going to balance itself out.
So back to that's good. This is a great explanation, David. Great explanation. So back to the $100,000 value. You're gonna get funded for 90K. You got to come up with 10,000. So when you go to closing for this deal, what else do you need to have out of pocket? Points, closing costs,
Sure.
attorney. Okay, so 10K you got to have no matter what. That's your down.
Well, yeah,
plus,
we're hypothetically speaking here. Okay.
Right. Hypothetically, right. Hypothetically, so 10,000 you got to have. That 10,000 is in addition to the other cost. I just said title, attorney, all
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
So when I talk about liquidity, the lender's going to say, okay, you want to buy this house for $100,000. Do you have $10,000 down
Okay.
plus the closing costs?
That's what I was looking for.
right.
Yeah,
The
yes.
closing costs,
Right.
which is attorney fee, title fee, lender fee, broker fee, who knows, whatever fee there is after
Right.
that.
Right.
Can you cover those costs plus the reserve? So let's say the rehab is 50,000, but the lender wants to see an additional 25,000 in reserve, right? So they're saying, okay, you need to have, let's say, 10,000 plus 25. You need to show 35,000 in reserve before we lend this money to you, because we want to make sure you got some money in your pocket in case to start the project and keep it going.
Right. So you need the intent. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's right. So
Yeah,
you got the closing costs, but also you got the carrying costs.
Right.
You got taxes, insurance, and also the interest payments.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Right,
Yeah.
and also the utilities for the property. So you need electricity to use
do the work.
You do the work. You want to make sure the water's on to do the plumbing. So you're going to need all that.
When do you have to start making payments on the loan after they give it to you? 30 days afterwards, like a regular
typically-
mortgage.
Yeah, it's just a regular.
So that
time frame.
that note's going to come due 30 days, and you're still working on the house. You got to pay that note.
You got to pay it whether
And-
you're working on it or not.
Right. So it's like a mortgage, and you're paying it until you fix it, flip it, get rid of it, and
That's correct.
Okay, got it. Okay, great. That's great. Thanks, Dave. So let's talk a little bit about the some of the Hispanic market and some of the programs may be available to them.
Sure.
And whether they have a social or they don't have a social. Talk a little bit about those programs where they can get into the fix and flip and DSCRs. Talk a little bit about the work that you've done there.
So it could be the Hispanic market, but we're going to call it foreign national.
Foreign national's fine. Okay.
So there's we can do different kinds of loans. One, I'm going to keep it like foreign national means basically somebody who just literally flew here from wherever, from some foreign country, and they have a passport in hand. They don't have anything else. They don't have a social security card. They don't have, credit score. They got nothing.
They could be undocumented. They could be
undocumented. It's just a guy who just landed in the airport and said, I want to buy this property.
Right.
We can finance that. That's called a foreign national loan. We can finance that with nothing other than a passport, and you need to open up an entity in the United States, which is pretty easy. Because the entity, it could typically an LLC, the entity is going to be the buying holding entity.
Right.
And a bank account in the United States.
And you can get a bank account with an I-10. Right.
That's so if you have those ingredients, we can fund that.
Okay.
So that's for foreign national. Same with the I-10 or let's say a green card. Green card, the lenders treat just basically the same as a U.S. citizen. There's no real difference. You're resident.
You have a social. You have a
social. You have bank accounts. You got an address in the United States. No big deal. I-10, kind of similar. They might kind of reduce the LTV, maybe up a little bit on the interest rate, but for the most part, not very significant difference. So right now, since we're talking about the Hispanic community, there's a great opportunity for the Hispanics to leverage their money. So instead of relying on friends and family and money under the mattress, they can take that money and keep it as a reserve and borrow the money from myself or the institutions that lend this kind of money. So let's say they want to buy a house in Miami, right? And they're going to fix this up and rent it out, or they're going to fix it up and sell it, whatever they want to do. We can do that. It's very feasible. Canadians come to the United States. They can buy investment. It doesn't matter. I've lent to all over the, from Mexico, South Africa, Argentina. It doesn't matter.
Right. So the only difference for our Hispanic audience, bilingual audience as well, that the example that David wrote before about the $100,000 house, that the interest rate on that could be anywhere from, if it's a fix or flip, it could be anywhere from 9 to 10%. If you are a foreign national, meaning the criteria that David just outlined, you may end up paying, 11% interest, 12% interest.
That's correct.
And then they won't fund you the 70%. They may fund you 60% for the loan to value. You said 70% on 100, right?
65 is kind of the low end.
Okay, so 65.
Better than 65.
Right, so 65% instead of 70.
Yeah.
And then maybe a little bit higher interest rates, but you'll still get the loan.
Right.
And everything else still applies. You got to have down payment. You got to have the money in the reserve. All those kind of things. And you help obviously figure all that out for the person who's looking at that deal, right? You'll say you're going to need to have $70,000 in cash for this deal, meaning your reserve, meaning your down payment, that you help with that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll analyze
what the numbers are, and say that you need to have at least, before we even go to the table, you need to have at least this money in the bank.
That's right.
Cash somehow.
Yeah. So they need to show the money's in the bank.
Right.
That's how they would check the liquidity.
Right. They're going to want bank statements. They're going to want to see that.
Foreign national. If they're a U.S. resident, green card, it's going to be treated just like U.S. citizen.
How do they verify the money in the bank, though? They have bank statements?
Want bank statements.
Okay, so you're going to ask a bank statement, which is what banks typically do during the traditional process.
2 months of bank statements.
Okay.
We don't need it seasoned, typically, nothing like that. So now we're talking about fix and flips, but on the DSCR, we can do that for a foreign national.
Okay.
I mean, they don't need, at 50% LTV, I don't even need a credit report or credit score. So if somebody wants to borrow at 50% loan to value, let's say they got a 400 credit score, which is really horrible.
Right.
That's when I would say, well, we can do 50% without even pulling your credit.
The DSR is how much is DSR LTV typically? The highest.
80% on a purchase, 75% on a refi. So one thing for foreigners I've noticed is, like, let's say a lot of people come, and let's use Miami as an example.
Okay.
They go in there and buy all these condos.
Right.
It could be in Chicago, whatever. Where they buy these condos or buy the house because they say, oh, that's a good investment. We want to take our money out of our country, which we don't feel safe having money here. This particularly was, like in South Africa, a gentleman I was helping. wants to pull it out of there, put it into the United States, and so they lock it up in real estate, right?
Right.
So they say, you know what, I just want to pull the cash out, put it into the United States real estate market. And sometimes they buy it all cash, but now they realize, well, all my money's tied up into this deal. So what can I do? So we can help them buy the property, or let's say if they already bought it, we can help them refinance and get most of their money back out.
Okay, gotcha.
So let's say we can get 70, even maybe 75%, depending on the situation, of their money back out. So let's say they bought this condo in Miami. We can unlock, let's say, up to 75% of their money.
Oh, wow, that's great. That's fantastic. So that's good. I'm glad to hear there's some opportunities there for the foreign nationals as well. And as we begin to wrap up this segment, chatting with David Massian of Money Mac and hard money lending, and there's a lot of opportunity in North Carolina to get involved in the real estate market, fix and flip, buy a commercial building and do a DSCR loan, and looking at revenue of what that building's going to bring in and get funded that way. You still need to have cash. You still need to have some money because the banks want to see, whoever's lending want to see some skin in the game, right? It's like the 100% loan to value is not going to happen. It's not, it's going to be 60, right, exactly. 80, 70, 65. You're going to need, depending upon what you're doing is what I'm getting. Interest rates from, again, it's like a 9%, 10%,
on the fix and flip, and 6s and 7s on the permanent 30-year loan, that's the DSCR.
Right, 6 to 7 on that, and you can eventually get out of that and do, if you want to, and the like. So there's clearly opportunity in the market to get involved if you have some cash and you find the right deal. That's probably the challenge. Finding the right deal is probably the like you had said before earlier in the program, that somebody had a deal and they just wasn't going to make money, and you were like, I don't think you should do this because you're going to lose money at the end, and they eventually didn't do it.
But it's their call, because
of course.
They're gonna, if the deal is not so good, they're going to need to bring more money to the table.
Right.
So we'll do the loan because we're lenders, but we just kind of limit, hedge for our risk.
Right, of course.
Now the thing is, we're talking about DSCR. First of all, I lend nationwide, not just in North Carolina.
Okay.
So, but we can do a DSCR loan on commercial, like we're talking about, like retail, office, industrial, multifamily. We can do that as well across the country.
Okay.
And that's a true DSCR. It's a 30-year loan, fully amortized over 30, with no balloon payment, and that's actually unheard of in commercial. If you go to a bank and you want to get a commercial loan, you're pretty much going to be stuck with a 5-year, 7-year, at most a 10-year, but typically 5 to 7-year loan. And at the end of 5 years, you got to pay that loan back. So the advantage we're doing your commercial loan as a DSCR, the loan products I offer is, no matter where the market is, you have this loan that is got 30 years out. So you are not facing a bullet at the end of 5 years. You let's say that all of a sudden the lenders are not lending at some time that you're in year 4 of your 5-year loan, and all of a sudden there's no lenders lending.
Right.
That is a bad place to be. But if you have a 30-year loan and they're not lending 4 years into your loan, you don't care. You just keep the loan going.
Right. That's right.
So that's a huge difference with the kind of loans I'm offering as a DSCR and a commercial. It's the same thing for residential, but this is actually quite unknown in the industry for commercial. It's not very well known, but I love the product.
Wow, yeah, I mean, and I heard a little bit about it at the meetings that you have, and that caught my attention, and it makes you want to, if you really want to get into this business, to look for deals that will make sense, obviously, and finding them, and like I said, sometimes finding the right deal is obviously sometimes a challenge that make the numbers work, and obviously it pays for itself. You make money doing it, So,
that's right.
But I like the commercial market personally, and just my, some of the people like the real estate, the residential stuff, fix and flip. I like the commercial market just because of all the business that I have, that kind of thing. So, David, last words for the audience today, and share your website and phone number, how they can contact you, but also words to have them kind of get involved, and get in the business, and try something. See if you can get in the real estate business or what have you.
Yeah. So kind of what typical, investors kind of doubt themselves, especially if they're brand new, or they don't, they don't ask the questions. Because I'm saying, look, call me, ask me the questions. I'll tell you the situation as I see it, and I'm going to do my best to get you the loan that's going to work for you. You don't know what you don't know, bottom line. You really don't. You can't assume it. So if somebody, let's say a Hispanic community says, hey, I want to buy this retail or I want to buy this house, and there's some doubt there about the situation, I said, well, look, I get paid to overcome these resistance points with the loan, right? So I'm going to get you the loan you want. And I've done it plenty of times. A lot of times, hard loans, I get it funded. So come to me, ask your questions. We'll talk about your loan, and I'll see what we can get you. But bring the loan question, bring the loan scenario up to me. You can't just assume it's not going to happen and say nothing and then just disappear in the background.
Right.
So that's my biggest piece of advice is bring the scenario up, regardless of how much you doubt about it, right? So I'm going to give you my phone number and my email and my website right now, so you can reach me. My name is David Mashian. My phone number is 310. It's an LA number, 310-903-6907. Again, 310-903-6907. And my email is David at money, M-O-N-E-Y, Mac, M-A-C, mortgage, MORTGAGE.com. And my website is moneymacmortgage.com. So David at moneymacmortgage.com. Call me anytime. I'm happy to help. I'm a businessman too, and I remember when I got out of college looking for a loan for a business, I dealt with banks. It was extremely painful, and I just would like to help people avoid that pain. They don't need to go through that. There's products now that exist that you don't need to deal with that ridiculous way of so-called funding.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dave, for being on the show and for sharing all this information. We'll have David back at some other time and continuing to talk about the real estate market, but also more programs about maybe the Hispanics and the like, and kind of have you back in, talk a little bit more in depth, and kind of go through some requirements for that for regular, mortgages and the like. Could you do that as well, right? So
I only do investment properties.
Okay, investment properties, got it. So we'll go a little bit more into detail and some other stuff that we're going to talk about in the future.
Sure.
But thanks so much for being with us, and until next time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Y de sus manos beber la plenitud que tu alma necesita. Puedes sentarte a sus pies y cada día tener una nueva canción.
WSMU, La Celestial, 106.5 FM.
Esta radioemisora es patrocinada por Magic Transmission, especialista en la reconstrucción de transmisión de vehículos. Trabajos garantizados, 25 años de experiencia. Visítenos en la 10505 Cleveland Road, Garner, North Carolina.